Hello again. It is Wing Nation presented by Sage Fruit. Talking sprint car racing, our favorite time of the week, and we are so glad that you have joined us. Steve Post here in our Concord, North Carolina studios from the Lethal Chassis Studios in Mifflintown, Pennsylvania. Ashley Stremme, my co-host. Hello, Ashley. How are you?
I am fabulous, Steve. It has been a beautiful week in Pennsylvania. I'm just disappointed I'm not going to get to see any sprint cars here at home this week.
Yeah, you're actually traveling with your modified team. That's good. Nothing wrong with that. That is it. But yes, May sunshine. We had some good racing over the past this weekend. Really, really good stuff. And boy, the World of Outlaws, USAC Sprint Cars, as a matter of fact, as well, did not disappoint. They were at Eldora for Let's Race 2. For the Outlaws, this is the only tune-up they have for that big $1 million race coming up in July. And boy, I am telling you, one young man that is tuned up is a kid named Rico Abreu, Ashley. Woo! Rico has got that car rolling at Eldora and basically everywhere else.
Right? He's definitely put his foot in the door for the million, and we still got 2 months to go. But, I mean, fast Saturday, held off Donnie's shots. Fast Friday, I thought he was going to win it. Logan threw it back out there for one last charge on the last lap. Just huge. Rico is definitely in a good spot at Eldora right now.
Last 3 Eldora starts. A win last fall, a second-place run, nearly won on Friday night, and a win on Saturday night. Rico Abreu is looking good at Eldora, that is for sure. We mentioned that near win on Friday night. You mentioned Logan. Logan Schuchart able to come back at Rico and get the top spot and get the win, his 36th career World of Outlaw wins. And how about this? That's who we're going to talk to this week here on Wing Nation. So stay with us. Logan Schuchart from Shark Racing. He joins us next. The Outlaws are headed back to the Pacific Northwest. Join us for 3 action-packed nights of racing August 31st, September 1st and 2nd at Skagit Speedway when the World of Outlaw NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars return for the Sage Fruit Skagit Nationals. Kickoff for the Sage Fruit Skagit Nationals begins Wednesday, August 30th with a pre-race party, live band, Sage Fruit apple giveaways, and more. Then catch Donnie Schatz and the rest of the World of Outlaws as they take on Washington's best sprint car drivers Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights. Details at SkagitSpeedway.com. Welcome back. It is Wing Nation presented by Sage Fruit. Let's get right to the Sage Fruit hotline. Joining us fresh off from that trip to Victory Lane at Eldora. Looks like he might still be in the race car. Logan Schuchart joins us. Hello, Logan. How are you?
How's it going, Steve?
Doing really, really well, Logan. Getting the win Friday night at Eldora. First win of the season, Eldora. We know what's happening later this year. You got to feel really, really good about getting that Victory Lane on Friday night.
Sure, we always enjoy going back to Eldora, no matter what time of the year, or what's at stake. I just love the facility. I love the racetrack. I think it puts on some of the best racing in the country as far as you can move all around the racetrack. Friday night, so slick, sliding around up against the wall. Rico's on the bottom at the end. I think you saw a lot of the same. It was a little bit faster pace on Saturday, but you saw a lot of that on Saturday. So just love the facility, love what Tony Stewart and his team have going on at Eldora. I think it's an awesome racetrack. And, being fast is nice. So we've got a great Duramax, Dryden, C&D rigging, Federated Auto Parts car that we had on Friday. And, I feel like we've been a lot of trial and error over the last few years. We've got some wins, but I feel like this weekend was the fastest we've been in a few years. So a little bit of bad luck on Saturday, but I was telling my guys, as far as qualifying goes, I have never ran inside the 12 seconds bracket, since we've been going to Eldora. And we've always been, we've qualified good as long as it was really slick. We'd be around that 13-1 area. But this weekend, it required a little bit more speed, and it was the first time we got our car to qualify in the 12-second bracket on Friday night, quick time, and then Saturday, we missed it by one spot. David went a little bit faster, but 12.7, I've never been even close to that. So Michael Newman's doing an awesome job building our engines, and we felt really good this weekend.
obviously leading up to the million in just a few months here. But you keep talking about it. Speed. Logan, you have found it this year. You have set the track record at Tri-State. You've been at the top of the board week in and week out. What is different? What is it? Is it your crew guys? Is it your car? Is it you? What has kind of all come together to find the speed that you guys have found this year?
Well, I have a great crew in Lonnie Judy and Brendan Collin. Bill Klingbeil works very hard. My grandfather. So definitely, a huge shout out to them and all the hard work they put in. I tore up a car last weekend and they worked their butts off last week to give me a new car. And then unfortunate events on Saturday, I blew a tire and put that one in the wallet. And so we're building a different one this week. So those guys worked their butts off. That's a big part of it. We worked on our car a little bit over the winter time to, one of our, not so strong points over the last few years is we could race well. I think we lead the series in passing cars, charging forward, hard chargers and all that stuff, which is nice. It looks good. It puts on a show for the fans. As long as we can come from the back, it means we're racing good. That's nice, but we need to, with the World of Outlaws, you got to qualify well. You got to start up front. And this is the best we've been qualifying that I can remember. It seems like, if we're off a little bit, you're not going to, still working on the setup, not going to be always perfect, but we've had some races here. It seems like we're either way in the back or we're first or second quick. So at least when we're on and we're getting, making the right calls and getting the thing close, we're qualifying really well. So that's important.
Motorsports is about a whole bunch of things, but we've talked, this goes from NASCAR crew chiefs to everybody. Speed is so elusive. If you don't have speed, boy, execution can get you a little bit. This can get you a little bit. Luck of the draw can get you a little bit. But boy, speed having it, that has got to make it good. So you guys, is it accurate to say that you guys can just focus on those finer points, some of the execution points, the littler points that you need to do, Logan?
When you race with the World of Outlaws, the fine tuning or the margin of error is so small. Setting up the command center of Brad Sweet the other week, we're at Peevely, and it's like the top 20 cars are within, a tenth and a half of each other. So it's so tough. There's so many good cars, people that can win. And so just finding that little bit of extra touch, my grandfather's big on weight. Getting the car just to roll around the racetrack smoothly. They say loose is fast. It's a little on the loose side. And then, as far as the driver goes, just knowing the racetrack, knowing what's faster and reading the racetrack and running that correct line.
All right. So speaking of all of that, coming home this weekend, Lincoln, Williams Grove, do you look forward to racing these tracks that you're used to, but you don't really get to see often anymore throughout the year with the World of Outlaws?
I always enjoy coming home. It bothers me that I haven't won at Lincoln or Williams Grove, places that we won at before we went on the road. I guess early in my career is one of the first few places that we won races at were Lincoln and Williams Grove. And then we go on the road, come back, and you think it's a place that you're going to run good. And it's kind of been a little bit of a struggle for me. We've ran, a lot of second place finishes. I've been on the podium a good bit, but still missing those wins. So I was very happy for Jake last year to get a win at Lincoln. It was really cool for all the hometown crowd, the fans. And then just I know how much it meant to him. So that was really neat to see. I'd love to do it myself, whether it's Williams Grove or Lincoln. I don't think either one of them would if I could win at Williams Grove in October, that would be awesome. But any of them other than that one, I don't know if one would be more meaningful than the other, but definitely would love to win at Williams Grove or Lincoln.
Yeah, that big one at the end of the year is the National Open, pays a lot of money, that's for sure. Logan referenced it when we first came on. Where are you sitting? What's that? Is it your sim rig? What are you sitting? Where are you at there?
Yeah, I'm sitting in a sim rig. I'm on iRacing right now, so I was at the shop. The guys haven't been on it for a few months. They like to play around on it, so I was updating it for them, and I couldn't just get in and get right back out of it. So it's been a while, probably since COVID, since I've been in this thing, but it's fun to get some laps. Lincoln and Williams Grove are both on this thing, so you can get on here, race a little bit, and turn some laps, and It's nice. We don't get to go practice all the time, so this is the closest thing we have to it. So if I can get in here and learn a little bit of something, it's sounds good.
I love it. That is great stuff, that's for sure. Speaking of great stuff, we're going to step away. We'll come back more with Logan Schuchart in just a moment. The Outlaws are headed back to the Pacific Northwest. Join us for 3 action-packed nights of racing August 31st, September 1st and 2nd at Skagit Speedway when the World of Outlaw NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars return for the Sage Fruit Skagit Nationals. Kickoff for the Sage Fruit Skagit Nationals begins Wednesday, August 30th with a pre-race party, live band, Sage Fruit apple giveaways, and more. Then catch Donnie Schatz and the rest of the World of Outlaws as they take on Washington's best sprint car drivers Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights. Details at SkagitSpeedway.com. Welcome back. It is Wing Nation, presented by Sage Fruit. Right back to the Sage Fruit Hotline. Joining us is Logan Schuchart up at home in Pennsylvania as he gets ready for a big weekend of racing up there. He's in the simulator, which I think is awesome as well. Logan, you guys have added something a little bit to your program here over the last few months, a YouTube channel, okay? What's that been like? What are the challenges? Just tell us about your YouTube channel and what you want to accomplish with that.
I think a lot of drivers do an awesome job at reaching out to their fans or getting a little bit of behind the scenes stuff, see what we do during the week when we're not working on the cars, or just when we are working on the cars, give a little bit different insight into how we do it, why we do certain things. And I'd like to do that for our fans. Accent Media does a great job with some of our family driven stuff. If anyone hasn't seen that, they do a great job at editing and showing, a little bit about the family orientation of our team and what goes into it with my grandfather and just everybody involved. So but as far as on a personal level, Summer, myself have been trying to do some more YouTube stuff and make some videos. I'm not the best at it. I'm trying to be better at it, but the social media stuff, and it's something I got to work on. So, but I enjoy it. It's great for people to see, and hopefully we can bring them some great content.
Speaking of that, you shared on Instagram a good little video of kind of your pre-race meal with Summer trying protein shake there. Is that something that you've always done? Is that new? Are you not a big eater when it comes to race day? I know my husband will not eat all day on race day. Is that kind of your go-to meal then?
Yeah, I eat very little on race day. So I used to, and then I just hate that full feeling especially when you're in a car and you're strapped in and it's hot. It's not a good feeling. So I try to take care of myself as far as health and fitness and all that stuff goes. And pre-race meal, I like to make a smoothie. It's something light. It's filled with good stuff, and I feel like it makes you feel good. So just kind of a tradition for me in the last 2 years. I think I started doing that. Definitely last year, maybe middle of last year, started doing that and kind of enjoy it. So I put all the goodies in there, and it's kind of my pre-race ritual. Okay,
so you do the smoothie, you go real light pre-race, getting ready to go. What's the feed like after the race, though? Is there a favorite go-to meal? Is there a spot you like to go to? What's the feed like after the race is over?
So I gave a shout out to my guys earlier, but Lonnie, Judy, Blake on Jacob's car, my grandfather, they all love to cook, and Tyler Garber does too. They got all the stove tops, the cooktops, and all that stuff. So they cook out I feel like almost every race. So those guys, they work on race cars, great mechanics, but they got a little bit of a chef to them too. So they're always cooking out.
Not a bad deal as a driver at all. And that being said, when you're home, is there, obviously you get to sleep in your own bed, which is great, but is there anything that you look forward to coming home other than having to work in the shop and everything that you've destroyed?
Yeah. It's always nice just to regroup. It's nice to be at home in Pennsylvania. Just driving around this morning, we get to travel and see a lot of great places, a lot of really neat places. So many, awesome people, fans across the country. But there's no place like home. Like, I love Pennsylvania in the springtime. All the trees are blooming. It's very green. The sun's out. It's 70 degrees. It's beautiful in Pennsylvania right now. So I love being here, especially this time of the year. I love it in the fall when the leaves are changing colors. So I love Pennsylvania in itself.
Neat stuff, that is for sure. You certainly are from a great part of the country up there. There is no doubt about it. Logan, getting back to some of the racing stuff, actually, and this week has been weird. We've seen silly season kind of go through the roof this year with this week with Parker Price Miller and Buddy Kofoid as far as that goes. But I was thinking about this. We're starting to get closer and closer to what used to be the month of money. Now it seems like the summer of money. How do you feel as you get ready to go into this? We have a big one at Houston's coming up in about a month. Of course, Pennsylvania now, and then we get into the traditional month of the money. How do you feel like you guys are positioned when we get into this busy time of the year?
Definitely awesome to be racing for so much money. The sport is growing and getting bigger and better, and it feels great to be in this position as a driver, as a team. But as far as our speed and how we feel as far as a race car, I feel great. When we first changed over these tires, a month or two ago, I was very skeptical. Especially when we went back down south, I was, kind of questioning a lot of stuff we were doing as far as setups go, and what I just wasn't feeling comfortable in a car at all. So, but here lately, we've missed a little bit. We had some bad luck on Saturday. Hop stock is always, last weekend, it's always been troublesome for me. But I felt like I know what was wrong and how we can fix it. So it's when we do go back, I feel like we have a very good idea of how to do that. So, but as far as our car in general, other than taking hop stock out of it, we've been on the podium the last 3 out of 5 races, and I feel like we were headed to that on Saturday before we got a flat and blew the tire and put it in the wall. So I think our team's in a great spot, and I'm looking forward to this big summer of money.
I know, we talked points all year long, whatever, but currently you're sitting 4th. Do you pay attention to that at all, Logan, or do you get in your race car and try to win every single race, or is there part of you that pays attention to points and kind of where you're falling at the moment?
A little bit of both. I try and to be smart about it, especially if you're running 3rd and you have a chance to win, but putting your car in a bad spot could end your night early, or take you out of the race. DNFs, or we're out here because we want to win a championship. So I don't dwell on it. I don't try to look at it every race. I know if we had a good night, it's you want to be consistent. That's the biggest thing out here. And I looked at it after Saturday. I fall out of a race, I know what that does to points. So I wanted to know what that did. But at least we got a win on Friday. We got some points there, and we're still in the hunt. David Gravel at this time last year was about where we were, and really put in a fight with Brad at the end of the year. So, and that's stuff that happened to us on Saturday could very easily happen to those guys up front. So you don't wish that on anybody. It's you want to win it the right way, and but we hope to get consistent here and start running really well and fast, and be able to contend with those guys every night and pick off some more wins, and we'll put ourselves back in the hunt.
The topsy-turvy world of Outlaws sprint cars. Hang on, boy! I'll tell you what. You go from victory lane to a flat tire and in the fence, and you could very well be in victory lane this weekend again. That's kind of the way it goes. Logan, we do appreciate the time. Thanks for stepping away from the sim time, getting ready for this weekend's races. But we appreciate the time as always. Thanks for joining us here on Wing Nation.
Hey, thank you all for having me. Hope to talk to you again soon.
There we go. Logan Schuchart joining us here on the Sage Fruit Hotline. Stay with us, more in just a moment. Welcome back. It is Wing Nation, presented by Sage Fruit. Ashley, it was great hanging out with Logan Schuchart. I was reminded back during COVID times, when all we were doing is sim racing, it seemed like every racer that we talked to, I remember Kevin Swindell, Cruz Pendragon, and I think a couple others, they would join us from in the simulator. I love that. I love that Logan was in the simulator, getting it updated for the guys back at the shop, the boys back at the shop, but also sneaking some laps in at Williams Grove, it sounded like as well.
Right. I mean, it was funny to hear him talk about, winning there, and now he's with the World of Outlaws and can't win there. But it'll be good. It'll be much like Jacob. I'm pretty sure they'll burn the place down when he gets a win in one of those 2 tracks if he wins this weekend.
Yeah, just one point of note there. He talked about Lincoln. Lincoln is running this midweek. We've recorded this early in the week, so Lincoln will have happened by the time, and maybe he'll be a Lincoln winner by the time you see this, and wouldn't that be big? Because they'll burn that joint down too as well. Logan wins at either one of those. It's going to be great. Okay, we have talked so much about the weather this year, and we talked a little bit at the top real quickly about May sunshine. it was sunshiny and nice in Knoxville, Iowa. The famed Marion County Fairgrounds, the 70th annual Pella Motors season opener. They finally got it done. Third time was the charm. And boy, Ashley, a man by the name of Aaron Reitzel that's won a bunch of races, he picked off a couple of them on Saturday night.
He sure did. He picked up obviously the 410 feature and then as well as the 360 feature. Really cool statistic. He's only the 5th driver to do that. Terry McCarroll, Brian Brown, Justin Henderson, and Dennis Moore Jr. He adds his name to that list. So that's pretty cool history there at Knoxville.
Yeah, the Ridge and Sun Racing team, RSS Racing, or RSR Racing, had that car rolling pretty well. It was his first 410 win of the season, his second 360 one. He won one down at East Bay as well, so in the 360. So Reitzel's getting her dialed in out in the Midwest, and we'll see how that goes. Speaking of dialed in, let's go to Western Pennsylvania. Brandon Spithaler, and I had a chance to meet Brandon a couple years ago when I was up there, went to Lernerville and Mercer. What a great, this is just a guy that races on Friday and Saturday night. Well, he races on Friday and Saturday night, and Ashley, this weekend, he won on Friday and Saturday night as well.
Yes, obviously he knows those Western PA tracks well. He's a former champion at Lernerville. And then his last win at Lernerville was April of 2016. So obviously he's consistent enough to make those championships happen. But Saturday, he won his 10th career win at Mercer Speedway.
No doubt about it. I love Western Pennsylvania. Some really, really neat racetracks up there. And good to see Michael's Mercer Speedway. A couple years ago, they ran one 410 show, but they're going to run a series of 410 shows, and business is picking up over in Western Pennsylvania as well, and that's good to see for all the great racers over there. All right, this weekend, Ashley, I know you're headed out of town. They're headed in town. World of Outlaws, Friday and Saturday night. It's the Morgan Cup at Williams Grove Speedway. Last year, this thing really tipped into the favor of the posse, Ashley.
Yes, we are finally getting back to the top. Brent Marks, and then, of course, rain happened. But hopefully Brent can be fast again. And, of course, the Summer Nationals, Lance DeWeese, and, of course, a World of Outlaw, Brad Sweet. But we like to see those PA guys on top.
Yeah, and then we rolled into September, October. It was all Lance DeWeese. He won both nights. There was a little rain delay in between them of the National Open. So the posse's been good, but boy, they haven't had many races this year. I'm a little concerned with the lack of racing up in Pennsylvania this year, and the Outlaws, they've been going strong. And Ashley, Houston Speedway, I just love Sunday night racing, and that they open their season on Mother's Day Sunday every year. That is going to be a big one on Saturday or Sunday night.
It is, and it's huge tradition at Houston, and it's so cool what they do on a Sunday night. The fans support them, the racers support them, and they're having so much success. That is spectacular.
And it's a big season up there. They have the Houston High Bank Nationals coming up at the end of June, $250,000 to win on Saturday night there. That is an event that we have done in the past as part of our Wing Nation Road shows, that Port Royal and Knoxville. A little bit bummed here, Ashley. We're not going to be able to do road shows this year. Not going to work out. We're just the way things kind of fall. We're not able to get out and do them this year. Although, when it comes to Port Royal, you're going to be joining our friends with the Beer Hill Gang for a little pre-race stuff.
I sure will. You know, I can't miss out on the home track, even though it won't be the same without you. I'm still happy that I get to share in that moment.
Yeah, we're bummed about the Wing Nation Road shows going away, but we'll be all right. We'll get through it because we get a chance to talk sprint car racing, and we thank you for joining us here this week on Wing Nation.